He's Mr. Brown, the scorching Hey Big Spender, Diamonds Are Forever, and the unforgettable Goldfinger. She's captivating, she's electric, she's all woman. And tonight, she's with us. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the world's greatest entertainers, Miss Shirley Bassey. Shirley, it makes me...
Thank you. That's wonderful. Thank you. Lovely. Fabulous.
Now, you're sure this is going to be your last tour of Australia after that?
Yes, I'm sure. But now you spoiled all. You said glamorous, and here I come out in a boiler suit.
Well, that's the thing about you, though. You see, I mean, you can make that look glamorous.
Thank you.
You can start a new fashion. How many trips to Australia?
This is my 15th. Yeah, I should own it by now, shouldn't I?
Well, it really is. It's a second home to you, isn't it?
It is, definitely. Oh, yes.
I've had such wonderful thoughts over the weekend about you, which is not the first time I've had wonderful thoughts about you. But the fact that this is your last tour, which is very sad for me, is also quite significant because you were the very first international star that I ever interviewed when I started a talk show on Channel 7 back in 1957.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Yes.
I think it was pretty close to your first visit to Australia.
I think it was, definitely, yes.
I can remember you telling me then, either on or off air, that Judy Garland was a tremendous force in your life.
Well, I don't know about tremendous force. I think she was a great influence. I mean, I was a big fan of Judy Garland. You know, I think that she was the end. You know, she was fantastic. I mean, the emotion that she had. She was just living everything. I mean, she sang every song as though it was her last. You know.
Well, she, of course, worked in a manner that didn't really allow her to seem to get away from it all.
Well, it was a tragic life, you know. I mean, the start, you know, sort of when she was a teenager, I believe, you know, and the pills, and to go to sleep, to lose weight, to wake up, you know. It's frightening.
Not in that sense, not in the sense of drugs, but I mean, of course, you came from a pretty hard background, didn't you?
Yes,
You didn't have it easy.
No.
Was singing back in those very early years, was it a means of escape for you?
Well, I was singing, you know, I wanted to be a model, I wanted to be a nurse, I wanted to be a shop assistant, I wanted to be an air hostess, I wanted to be everything except a singer. And I used to sing. I suppose it was to my way of releasing sort of emotion somehow. But I never wanted to be a singer, but I always sang. I mean, at school in the choir, I was told, like, you know, to go to the back of the room because I was too loud, you know. And then when I left school and I went to work in a factory and I was singing while I was wrapping all these enamel pots and pans, I was told to belt up, you know. So naturally I didn't think to become a singer because every time I opened my mouth, somebody said, shut up.
Thank God you didn't.
Yes, thank God I didn't.
Shirley, when you sing, you said that Judy Garland sang every song as if it was going to be her last. Well, I mean, in a lot of songs that you do, I mean, the role that you portray, the fact that you act out those songs, that must take a hell of a lot out of you.
Well, it does, but at the same time, at the end of the show, you're on a tremendous high. You know, it takes 3 hours to come down from a performance. And as you say, like as I say about Judy Garland, I do sing every song with such emotion that about things about love, loss and love, needing love and all that. It's something that one has experienced. I choose those songs because I identify with them, you know, the songs I sing.
Yeah, do you find that you work well on isolated occasions in your life when things haven't been going very well for you and you're able to to use the time out on stage as almost
yes.
therapy.
Oh, yes, tremendously. So, yes. When I've had a terrible fight with the old man, for instance, you know, I've gone out and I've given one hell of a performance, you know.
Do you make sure he's there that night?
Yes, of course I make sure he's there that night. No, he couldn't come because both his legs were broken.
What sort of things do you argue about?
I did. I'm divorced now.
But argue? You don't have the right to argue anymore?
No, because I don't see him anymore. I mean, who wants to have all that?
You don't go through that rot that people say, we're still very good friends even though we're not married any longer.
No, we're not very good friends.
So what happened?
He got married again.
But it makes beautiful reading if you say it. Also, I'm great friends with her, too. She and I speak on the phone regularly.
Well, up until they got married, I could have said that. We were good friends, all of us. Did you ring her after the wedding? No, because they snuck off and got married, you know. Because Sergio, you know, and apparently our divorce wasn't recognized in Italy. So he couldn't get married. He didn't know that until he wanted to get married. And he found out that he was still married to me in Italy.
So what did he do? I bet you loved every minute of that, did you?
I did. And so they said, well, he would have to go to either Las Vegas or Sweden. So the last moment he went to Sweden. I don't think she's pregnant, though.
Any message for him, Shirley, at all?
Yeah, ciao, Sergio.
Am I to believe now that there is, therefore, no man in your life?
You're not to believe anything.
Any clues?
Such thing. No, nothing. I'm not telling you nothing.
Nothing at all?
No.
We've got a sex therapist on the show a little later.
Have you?
Yes.
Oh, great.
So if you're staying around, you never know what you could learn. Shirley, you haven't really given us the reason why this is going to be your last tour. Because it is a second home to you.
Well, it's the last, not only the last tour of Australia, it's the last tour of the world. Because I've just after, well, what is it, over 30 years now, 32, 33 years, I've been doing it. And I'm tired of doing it. I can't do it anymore.
What are we talking about now? Can I ask all this?
How did I get into this? You led me into this.
Everything you and I say is going to sound very dirty. It doesn't matter what we say.
You're kidding. Since I opened my mouth on this show, I mean, it's rude.
No,
sounds dirty.
When you open your mouth and say anything, it's never dirty.
Well, rude.
Sexy, but never dirty.
Okay, sexy then.
So you're just tired of it, eh? You see what I mean?
I'm just tired.
You've had enough.
Yes, I want to enjoy. I want to enjoy it.
You know something, Shirley? I've worked it. I don't care whether you're going to be annoyed with me or not, but I haven't done this with you since 1957. And you're exactly as I remember you.
I haven't changed
Not at all, not so far as I'm concerned. I've gotten a little older, more experienced, but apart from that, nothing.
Haven't we all?
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. My gosh, I knew I'd miss something over the last 27 years, and it's you. Shirley, I've got your dates here.
That's
all right, I want to get out of it.
I beg your pardon. You haven't met Father O'Brien. This is Shirley Bassey. We've got we've got the tour dates here. Shirley's doing it 4 times in Melbourne. Tomorrow night at the Sports and Entertainment Centre. Then returns there on the 15th, 16th and 17th of June.
To do it again?
Yes. Attention Adelaide, one night only. At the Apollo Stadium on the 7th of June. Brisbane, the 21st and 22nd of June. The final performance, because nothing has been worked out in Tasmania. We think it may be illegal there. The final performance is at the Sydney Entertainment Centre in front of 18,000 people in 2 shows. And that's on the 24th of June. Will you stay for the rest of the show?
I can't, Doctor. I've got to go and do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shirley Bassey.
who has been making hit records since, I hate to remember, 1956. Such unforgettable classics as Long As He Needs Me, Climb Every Mountain, Big Spender, turned the name Shirley Bassey into a household word. Miss Bassey continues to sell out concert halls throughout the world. She's currently touring Australia for the first time, incidentally, since 1986. And Robin Wade spoke to her yesterday.
Not worth a damn till you can say, hey, what I am,
With a voice that has launched 1,000 romances, Shirley Bassey shook off her working-class background and stepped out of Cardiff, Wales, to become known as the Tiger of Tiger Bay.
There's the sky where the sea should be. But now, my love.
Are you a tiger?
I'm more like a pussycat. I was never a tiger. I mean, I can be, if you want me to be. I can be a tiger. I mean, if you corner me, I could be a rat. You know. But you never love you the way I love you.
Her singing career is into its 4th decade, but Bassey must be the only person who's never wondered where that success comes from.
I never questioned that. I never questioned what I do, my talent. You know, because I think it's all going to go wrong tomorrow if I start doing that. When I was born, God said, she's going to have a tough time. I better give her a voice. You know, poor little thing. She's going to have a bad time.
This, she guesses, is her 18th trip to Australia. But few would know that her 17th trip was almost the end of a brilliant career.
When I was last here, I actually lost my voice here in Sydney. And I just wanted to die. I wanted the stage to just open up and swallow me. New York, all the scandal and the bus.
So, for the first time in her life, Shirley Bassey took a singing lesson.
And at that point, I was willing to try anything. And I went to this wonderful woman who was an ex-opera singer. Her name's Helena Chanel. And she just took me, she gave me a new instrument. With you in my heart, the rhythm divine.
With a new instrument, she took her career in a new direction, teaming up with European whiz kids Yellow. Somehow the Bassey of the 50s is still right for the 90s. Generations may come and go, but Bassey, it seems, sings to the lot of them.
They were born to it, you know. Their parents were making love to those records, you know, and they were born because of those records. Well, this is what...
This is your theory?
This is my theory.
Yes.
Well, actually, no, it's true, because I have letters, you know, from various admirers who say, we met because of you through this song. We got married because of you. We had this baby because of you, you know. We were divorced because of you, because we were fighting over the record collection, you know. We would get the record collection.
And 30 years on, the song that's synonymous with the name.
A real big spender, good-looking, so refined. Say, wouldn't you like to know what's going on in my mind? So let me get right to the point. I'd pop my car first. Oh, God, that hurt. I actually do that on stage sometimes, and it hurts so badly. I got so carried away, and I've given myself such a hell of a whack, you know.
And just to prove Bassey is still a big crowd puller, the tickets are $145 each, and they're sold out.
Hey, big spender, spend a little time with me.
Special guest at 11:10. Yes, it's coffee, conversation and music with the one and only extraordinary Shirley Bassey. 11:10, coffee and conversation with a superstar of song. Yes, it's the lassie with the classy chassis, the inimitable Miss Shirley Bassey.
World's greatest entertainers, a woman who never gives less than 110% and who's still wowing audiences after more than 30 years at the top. She'll be performing for us just after midday, and she is, of course, Miss Shirley Bassey. Welcome to the dock.
Shirley.
Thank you very much.
Lovely to see you.
Thank you. It's a real pleasure for you to be here. I really I'm really looking forward to your song later. We heard you in rehearsals. It's called How Do You Keep the Music Playing? And it's from your new album, which is called Keep the Music Playing.
Yeah.
Right. That's been 7 years since your last British album, hasn't it? It's a long time. Why is that?
I don't know. I suppose because my contract ran out with United Artists, and then all the new wave singers came out, like Madonna, etc. You know, and they said, "Oh well, goodbye to us, all us oldies, you know, let's take on the newies," and that was it. And then Freestyle came up with this album, the concept of this album. And
what is the concept? Tell us about the album.
Well, I wanted to do songs that nobody would believe that I could do.
Yes,
you know.
Well, I mean, what kind of? Because the range you have already is enormous, and what else are you going to chuck in there, really?
Well, in the last 4 years, my range has changed, and that's why I wanted to have, you know, sort of do unusual songs like "He Was Beautiful." Elton John song, sorry seems to be the hardest word to say.
So does that mean they're more ballads, the softer, slower than perhaps before, not quite so
and unusual,
full of emotion?
You know, the only groups have sung some of the songs, like I Want to Know What Love Is by Foreigner, that no single entertainer has done.
And which translated well from the rock idiom to, I've seen you
actually
perform that.
It did. I was actually amazed.
What do you think is good? Because I think it's interesting how the pop singers actually do come and go, but you're there to mop up their best and carry on.
Endure.
Don't ask me why. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, is it maybe apprenticeship? Because we were just before we started the interview, we were talking about the days of touring the empires, the big city empires around the country.
Empires, yeah.
And well, you started to tell us about the Glasgow audiences. What were they like?
Well, when they put you on the Moss Empire circuit, they sent you up to Glasgow as a test, you know, and if you passed that, then they would give you a contract. And so they did the same with me, and I went up, and I could hear all the other acts being booed. You know, I was in the dressing room with the speaker in the dressing room, and I said, "Oh my God, I'm on next," and yeah. And no, they won't do it to me. They won't do it to me. And they let me off the hook until I got to the third number, which is "I've Got You Under My Skin," and then you could hear, "Oh yes, oh get off!"
Oh dear.
So I stopped and I said, "Listen, I've come all this way to entertain you." I was all of 17. You know. And if you don't want to hear me, said, "Then I'm going home."
Oh.
And there was silence. It worked, you know.
So well, that's what I call an apprenticeship.
So maybe that's why I've lasted, you know.
And now they're all battering down your door. I mean, the Glasgow audiences just were wowed.
I can't wait to go.
You've still to go there on your tour, which kind of finished, but then didn't really. What happened?
Because I missed Aberdeen, Glasgow, and Newcastle because I got the dreaded bronchitis.
Every singer's
nightmare. Yes.
Well,
but you will be going back there.
Yes, this weekend.
Good.
Yes.
Now, every singer's nightmare, of course, is to lose your voice.
Oh, forget the word.
Yes, I suppose that too. God.
Oh.
And that happened to you though a while ago when you were performing in Berlin. You went for that top note and it wasn't there. Tell us about that.
That was absolutely frightening. I wanted the stage to open up, you know, and just swallow me. And that was the first time. And then it happened again in Australia, in Sydney, 1 month later. And I was halfway through the tour, and I didn't even get to sing one song. I walked on stage, opened my mouth, and nothing came out.
What did you do?
Just stood there and froze. My musical director just led me off the stage.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
So is that because the instrument is your voice, every singer's voice is the instrument, is that when pressures show? Does it show in your voice, psychological, tiredness, that kind of thing?
Yes, yes. And also nerves, if you get over nervous. I mean, you're allowed to have nerves, but if you know, there's a borderline.
Do you still get nervous?
Oh yes. Yeah. Oh yes. To get that edge, you know, it's very important to have that edge.
Yes, the adrenaline.
And the adrenaline going. But if you go over the top, like anything, you know, I mean, I'm a little over the top singer, but if I really go over the then you become a caricature of yourself. If you go over the top with nerves, then I mean, just nothing happens.
Well, you did retrain your voice after that.
Then I went to an opera singer for vocal exercises. And
what must this singer, this teacher have thought, teaching Shirley Bassey how to sing?
Yes.
But did you do you now have a different approach then with your singing? Is that what that means?
Oh, now, yes. I mean, if I'm in a little trouble, then I know how to get out of it, you know.
Oh, I see. So it's up here as well as...
Yes, because, you know, I felt something was happening during the tour. I didn't feel well, you know. And I was fighting it and fighting it. And because of the vocal exercise, I was able to go on longer than I would have.
Stamina.
Did you? I mean, you've had this opera training now. Did that never tempt you to go into opera? I mean, someone said
I want to do Carmen Jones now.
Yes,
Oh, yes.
wonderful.
Carmen Jones is back in a big hit.
I know.
I can see you as Carmen Jones, yeah.
But no, you're not tempted. You are tempted.
I would be, yes, if somebody.
If somebody offered
yes.
it to you. Oh,
But,
right.
but a film, I don't know about a show because I get very restless. I don't think I could last in the show
For a long
6,
run.
or if it was hugely successful, a year, and then you'd have to take it on Broadway. I don't think I could cope with that. I have to keep on the move.
Well, if we talk about movies, we were just saying earlier that Shirley Bassey is as famous for James Bond as Sean Connery. You know, people say James Bond, they say Sean Connery, and then you, because how many themes did you actually sing?
3.
3.
But most people think I did all of them.
Yes.
Yes. Because they did a survey, the man in the street, and they said, who sang the Bond songs? And Shirley Bassey.
Shirley Bassey.
Yes, Shirley Bassey.
All of them?
Yes. All of them. Yes.
How did you get, which was the first? Was the first Goldfinger?
Yes.
So how did the chance to sing the famous Goldfinger come about?
Well, I was touring with John Barry, who writes all the Bond music, and they'd never had a song over the credits. I mean, they had From Russia with Love, it was on a radio, if you remember, when they were having a picnic or something. And John Barry said, I know that you don't like to listen to songs without the words. Of course, I mean, for a singer, it's ridiculous. And, but I've just done the music for Goldfinger, the song Goldfinger, and the film Goldfinger. Would you listen to it? And I said, for you I would, because we were touring together, you know. And I heard the music, and at the moment I heard the music, I mean, I got goose pimples, and I said, I don't get what the words are, I'll do it.
I'll sing it.
Yeah.
Now, the inimitable Shirley Bassey style, which we all associate with you, is the sequins, the wonderful feathers, the costumes.
Yes.
And you were showing a lot more leg before people like Cher came along and started flaunting themselves, weren't you?
I was showing an awful lot.
I don't know if that's quite the way to put it, really. But I mean, you were there way before any of those people.
Yeah.
Didn't you feel...
Well, the see-through, the diaphanous gowns, you know.
How did that style sort of develop from the beginning, when your roots back in Cardiff when you were 16? And...
Well, I wanted to be a model, and model gorgeous clothes, you know. And I never got to be a model. I wasn't tall enough. Then I thought, well, I'll be an air hostess, and you had to have another language, and I didn't have another language. Then I said, well, I'll be a nurse. And then I saw blood, and sort of that was the end of my nursing career, you know. So I never wanted to be a singer. I mean, that was obviously my destiny, you know.
Yeah, well,
I wanted to be everything except a singer.
And you ended up being a singer. Because
and wearing gorgeous clothes, so I'm a model, and now I do some nursing, you know, some of the crew get sick and...
as long as there's no blood.
Yeah. I mean, you used to be terribly shy. I mean, you had to be tempted out from underneath the table to sing for the family when you were very young.
Yeah.
I find it's very hard to believe that you used to be that shy.
It's very true. I am still shy, but I don't fortunately sing under the table anymore. I do go on stage in front of thousands of people.
You can go back here when this interview's finished.
Can I go on? And I don't know, as the years went on, you know, I gradually got out of the table, from under the table, and went into show business.
Just finally, and very briefly, how long are you going to carry on? How much further is there to go?
Who knows? I mean, I go from day to day, you know. As long as the voice is there. And
as long as the voice is
there. And as long as I can move, you know.
A long time, we hope.
Well,
and I don't have the cane.
Thank you very, very much for joining us. It's been a real pleasure.
It's my pleasure.
We will see you later.
Thank you.
Shirley will be performing her latest single, How Do You Keep the Music Playing?
How do you keep the music playing
How do you make it last? How do you keep this song from fading too fast? How do you lose yourself to someone and never lose your way? How do you not run out of new things to say? And since you know we're always changing, how can it be the same? And tell me how year after year you'll show your heart will fall apart each time you hear his name. I know the way I feel for you is now or never. The more I love you more than I'm afraid that in your eyes I may not see forever. Forever. If we can be the best of lovers, yet be the best of friends. If we can try with every day to make it better as it goes, with any luck, then I suppose the music never